How's it going, guys? Paul from Alpha Wrestling Reviews here, and I am with
Ben. Hello.
And WrestleMania 35 is in the bag. Little side note from the start, it was a good Mania. It petered out towards the end. I think fatigue played a big part in it, didn't
Not
it?
just with us viewers either, like I think throughout the whole show.
And the crowd there as well, they started to really
mutterings that there were people actually leaving, not midway through, but towards the end of
near the angle match.
Towards the end of Mania. Yeah, it's a hell of a slog. I mean, we got to the venue we watched it from for about 10 p.m. Pre-show starting about half an hour later.
I didn't get. I mean, from where we are in the UK, like we say, it started at 10 p.m. and we didn't end up getting home and into bed till about
7 a.m.
Yep, 7 a.m. So just a little side note at the start.
One plus note about getting in at 7 a.m. is I had breakfast before I went to bed, and then I had another breakfast when I woke up. So 2 breakfasts is always a plus.
So one little side note from the actual start is that the NXT, that was absolutely superb. That definitely, arguably, is one of the best NXT takeovers there has ever been. We're not going to go into detail with this one. We'll just go through it shortly. You started off with the Tag Team Championship match. War Raiders versus Aleister Black and Ricochet. Yes. I'm still very tired, guys, so bear with me. That was an absolutely superb match. Wow, we can tell this is early. Ricochet and Aleister Black were absolutely superb. This was their final match. They had a good bow out after. Ricochet missed the 630, and then the War Raiders used their finisher on Ricochet to get the pin.
Nice to see the event, the match actually end, graciously in defeat. Black and Ricochet taking the applause from the crowd, and obviously, War Raiders showing them a great deal of respect.
Yeah, the War Raiders laid down their championships in front of the ring, and then they bowed down to Black and Ricochet at the end of the match. Superb, absolutely superb.
Yeah, nice to see.
Really enjoyed that, and I sort of found myself sitting there thinking, yeah, I'll bow to you too. I'll bow. That was pretty good.
I think they've taken their time in NXT really well. I think with the additions of Black and Ricochet, it's obviously propelled NXT even further. I mean, everyone, Ricochet's just out of this world.
Oh, superb.
Great. Aleister Black, the strikes. It's done NXT a huge favour having such talents in there. Not taking anything away from the War Raiders, of course. They were incredibly good.
Best tag team in the WWE. I think
they've got to be up there.
They were one of the best signings.
Definitely.
And Handsome, for me,
Hanson's one of my favourites.
He's unreal. He's one of my favourites. Don't take anything away from Rowe. Rowe was superb as well. But Handsome, for me, the size of this man and what he can do is just outstanding. But on top of that, it was great. I mean, we'll get into Black and Ricochet or WrestleMania in a minute. But that being said, this match was superb. Next up, we had what was next? We had Velveteen Dream and
Matt Riddle.
Thank you again, guys. We're very tired. We're very sleep deprived, so you're gonna have to bear with us on this one. But that was a great match as well. Roll up. I'm quite surprised. Velveteen Dream ended Matt Riddle's undefeated streak. I'm quite shocked. I'm not against it. Could be good. Matt Riddle looked shocked. Velveteen Dream was great. The good thing about this was they're not hot potato in the belt again.
No, again, we've seen it far too much recently with a lot of the titles, just changing hands far too much, and it's taking away what it means to hold a title. It seems like anyone can take it. I do like to see titles.
Longevity.
Yeah, longevity in a title run. I don't expect to see many title runs like the great San Martino. Even Pete Dunne, like almost 2 years he held it was, surpassed expectations for his title run. Not because I don't think he's capable of carrying it for that long, but just because you don't see it that often in WWE anymore.
It was 684 days.
Yeah, I mean, like even Lesnar carrying the Universal title for, was it 2 years?
Well, he won it at 33. Which was 2017. He held that all the way through to SummerSlam 2018. Won it back at Crown Jewel, which was November 4th.
Yeah.
And then obviously spoilers. Should we say? Yeah,
spoilers.
Spoilers.
You're not going to watch this if you haven't watched Mania already. If you are, foolish.
Yeah, it's your own fault. Sorry, guys. But he lost it on WrestleMania night in an okay match. But again, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yep.
So, you know, longevity, I think, is something that's needed in championship runs nowadays. Don't get me wrong, there's good points when you drop the belt straight away to another thing, to another person straight away, just as a little surprise every now and then. But the majority of the time, for the legitimacy of championships, it needs to have some sort of longevity. So, yeah, that was that one. Next, we had the... What was next? It was... My God, I'm tired. What was next?
Pete Dunne versus Walter?
Pete Dunne versus Walter. Wow, match of
the weekend.
One of the matches of the weekend, I would say. There was one that I think topped it. We'll get to in a little
only
while.
The one, though.
Only just. But this was superb. Walter's chops. Oh, I was cringing listening to them, and I hate it in a good way when Pete Dunne grabs the middle of the fingers and pulls apart. That just, I'm sitting there going, oh no.
As much as we know it's, you know, they're not out there genuinely hurting each other, it still makes you wince just a little bit to watch.
And Walter has changed his finisher. Now, for those of you that don't know, on the independent scene and when he was wrestling elsewhere, Walter's finisher was a bit like Samoa Joe and Shayna Baszler's finisher. It was a rear naked choke. And then when he wasn't using that submission, he used a powerbomb as his finisher. He didn't here.
No.
He started using... Now, just to clarify, guys, I will hold my hands up and say I don't actually watch much of NXT UK. So if he started doing this in NXT UK, sorry, I didn't know that. But he started using the top rope splash.
And I've got to say, it looked good. And seeing a big guy launch himself from the top ropes and squashing an opponent.
And a jackknife powerbomb off the top,
yeah,
followed by the splash. And what I did like to see was, what you did see at the end was, as Walter was pinning him, he did say to Pete Dunne at the end, thank you. And Pete Dunne stood there. And if you guys can hear closely, he said, you deserve it. So that was a nice
little touch, yeah.
It was a good little thing. I was not really a big fan of Pete Dunne when I first saw him on the UK Championship match. I was always
grown on me.
I was always a Tyler Bate fan, but this has really, really pulled me on the Pete Dunne bandwagon.
Show class, professionalism. There's no denying the talent he's got.
And I didn't think he'd be able to get him up for the bitter end, but he did.
Well, yeah, surprised us all. I actually managed to stay up until, was it about 2 AM just to watch the Pete Dunne and Walter match. The rest of NXT TakeOver I watched in the morning.
Oh, you mean Sean ended up watching it elsewhere? Oh, also just to clarify, guys, Sean
is alive.
He's alive.
He's alive, but
just if you see our reaction video, which will be coming up in the next few days, like I say, guys, we've got to edit a lot of footage. We had a lot of separate videos, and unfortunately, the pre-show, there was some background music that was being played. We couldn't record the pre-show because it would end up getting copyrighted. And the main show, there were, especially at the start of the show, we were separated until sort of about a third way into the show.
Yeah, there was a big group of us all went together. It was a great atmosphere. We all enjoyed ourselves, but for a large part of it, we were sort of separated
until later in the show when
we got back together and rebanded.
At the very start of the show, we had some people with us, and there was a bit of swearing. And
not from us. We don't swear.
No, we're good boys. But we couldn't record parts of it. Sean did record a lot at the start, but towards the end, there was a lot more coverage, especially in our favourite match.
There was. Yeah, and just again going back to it, you know, Sean would be here, but he worked very late on Saturday night until the early hours of Sunday morning, and then he worked for a brief spell throughout Sunday, and then he joined us throughout last night. So I'm sure he's just catching up on sleep.
Sean missed us on the pre-show up until the Raw Tag Team match, and then Sean come along. Then
he will be back with us for our review of Monday Night Raw, which I believe is just going to be me and Sean.
Unfortunately,
and that will
I have to work, guys.
Yeah,
sorry.
It'll be uploaded either Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning, but look out for it.
I should be back for SmackDown.
Yes.
Should be, but unfortunately I won't be. I will be watching it, but I don't think I'll be in the video as to I have to work late, and I won't be able to show to see it. So next we have...
Yeah, we digress. Moving on.
Next we had the Women's Fatal 4-Way. Now, we weren't really interested in this until we watched it.
Yeah,
great
pretty
match.
much. Yeah.
Every single one there performed superbly. I was quite surprised Baszler retained, and I was very surprised that it was Belair that took the pinfall.
Yeah, I mean, Shayna Baszler, you know, she's there. She does what she does, but I've never been that big of a fan. But she
like
surprised me on. She surprised me at TakeOver, and I will be keeping a close eye on the women's NXT title going forward. I think it's
Who do you think's next in line? I still think Shirai.
Yeah, the way they've been building it, as much as I like the Sky Pirates, yeah, Io Shirai's going to.
Kairi Sane was in the Women's Battle Royal as well, surprisingly.
Yes.
So maybe get called up, Kairi Sane.
But I think Shayna Baszler will keep it for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a legitimate champion.
And just a little shout out, Bianca Belair. It was I can't remember what a finisher is.
I don't know, but that ponytail was ridiculous.
But I loved the. I can't remember what a finisher's called, but it was the double burning hammer with Shirai and Kairi Sane up on the same time.
Yes, yeah.
She got them both over. That was just
pretty shades of Cena, Edge and Big Show.
So next up we had the 2 out of 3 falls match between Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano. Johnny Wrestling. Johnny freaking Wrestling.
Johnny Wrestling.
My God, Johnny Wrestling.
Lost my voice at Royal Rumble because I was chanting Johnny Wrestling so much.
My voice is very sore at the moment.
Last night at Mania I was rather subdued and a bit more relaxed. I was way too into it.
No. So the rest of the Undisputed Era turned up and they distracted the ref. And then they hit the Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly hit total elimination. And he kicked out. Gargano kicked out. Followed by another Gargano escape. And Cole tapped out.
Which was quite a surprise to me. I mean, in our predictions video, I did predict Adam Cole to win because forgettingly, I thought Johnny Gargano would be making a step up to the main roster permanently.
But did you hear the rumours that it would have been 205 Live?
Yeah,
I'm
but
kind of glad
obviously
he's staying down now.
His short run on the main roster, he wasn't getting over with the fans too much. Vince had concerns. And yeah, I completely forgot about it. And when we were recording the reviews, I thought this would be Johnny Gargano's farewell for NXT, but evidently not.
And one thing I did miss on the actual show, I didn't see it until the next day when I watched the highlight package, was Candice LeRae obviously was there with Gargano, and then when they went up to the entrance ramp, Tommaso Ciampa came out and he gave him a hug.
Yeah, great little moment.
Great.
Obviously, Tommaso Ciampa we thought was going to be going on to huge things.
Sadly,
injury coming at it's never a good time for an injury, but that's kind of put his taken the steam out of his run.
He's sort of in the edge position now, and he said it himself. He's now on borrowed time.
Yes,
his
very much so.
Expected time of return is up to 14 months.
That's a long time to be out,
and that's if he ever comes back.
It's a lot of rebuilding he's got to do as well. His NXT run, obviously, he got so much.
He was one of the best heels
in
the company. Not just NXT, we're talking in the company. He was absolutely great.
Yeah, built up a huge reputation for himself. The fans were behind it. They were liking what they were seeing. Him and Gargano, what a
DIY.
As far as
stole the show from
as far as it goes. DIY, spectacular. And now after his injury, if he recovers, which we hope he does, he's got a lot of rebuilding to do to get back to where he was.
I would love to see Gargano next year. Also, little side prediction. I think it's Tampa, Florida. I said this to you. I know this is no point of saying this right now because it makes no sense to the rest of the show, but I know I'll forget if I don't say this now. I'm going out on a limb. Prediction. Tampa, Florida next year. Rock versus Roman Reigns WWE Championship. Both from Tampa. I think that's going to be the main event. And I also think that Batista is going to be in the headline for Mania next year.
Oh, what, for the Hall of Fame?
It's for Hall of Fame, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting. So, anyway, we wasn't actually going to say much about NXT. We said more than I thought we would. But we're going to go on to WrestleMania 35. Again, as we mentioned at the start of the show, not as good as last year, I don't think.
No,
I think you had the same problem as last year. Last year it peaked out towards the end with the Daniel Bryan-Shane McMahon match. And I think it was the same again after the Elias segment, which we'll go into in a minute.
Fire.
It went downhill a little bit.
Absolutely banged the Elias segment.
That was superb. One of the biggest. I think that was the moment of the night.
I do think they. I don't think they made a mistake in how they've booked the matches and the sequence they've come out in. But I do think they needed to work more on the latter stages, purely because the beginning was just ridiculously good.
Oh,
I mean, opening matches you expect to build the crowd up, not to send the crowd absolutely crazy like it did. And I think it failed to recover from then on. not taking away anything from the matches that were on. I just think, you know,
I'll take
the
away
bar
from
was set
one match.
too high too early, and they were kind of like chasing their tails.
So I'm just getting some notes up, guys, so we need to remember. So we'll start with the pre-show. We had the first match was the Cruiserweight Championship match, and I got it right. Tony Nese beat Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship. My only criticism with this was you've seen the amount of punishment that Buddy Murphy has taken in other matches, and it seems he only sort of took half the punishment and lost.
Also, wasn't very cruiserweighty.
No. I think there was 2 flips. I said that to you, didn't I?
Yeah.
I think there was only 2 sort of flip spots in the whole match. Both very good as well.
Nothing wrong with the match itself. But as I say, just not cruiserweighty enough. Great battle between the two. But it was,
I think the Cruiserweight division, I think 205 Live by the end of this year will be dead. I think they'll just integrate them with SmackDown and Raw.
When you look back at previous Cruiserweights, you look at the likes of Chavo Guerrero, even the Hurricane.
And the great legend that is Hornswoggle.
Hornswoggle, yeah, featherweight.
Featherweight?
Yeah.
Dustweight.
But you look back at the Cruiserweights, you know, years gone, Evan Bourne. Who else we got? Justin Gabriel. Oh,
apologies, we have oh God. We've got our little mascot here. Come here. Little mascot on the match. Cat's in the way, by the way. So we have the Cruiserweight match next. So yeah, we have
Eddie Pereiro.
Oh my God, Eddie Pereiro is awful but lovely. So yes, so Tony Nese won that match with a running Nese. He also manages to get his foot on the rope after a Murphy's Law. Okay match.
Some segments were some moments of the match were a little bit predictable, whether it was just down to ring positioning. But I think when you watch wrestling as much as we do, you know, there are certain things you start to pick up on. But yeah, there were a couple of bits we called out a bit early on.
I do have a gripe with a few people online. They're moaning about the match, like all the matches. Oh, it's predictable. It's this, it's that.
But this is what happens when you watch wrestling.
A lot of it's what you've asked for, and then you get it, and then people are moaning about it. It just seems some people are never going to be happy.
No, of course not.
Again, we'll get to it in a minute. The main event wasn't superb. The ending there was a problem with, and I weren't a big fan of it. But the right person won.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, but yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. So next we had the Women's Battle Royal. My pick wasn't even in it.
And unfortunately, my prediction for it, I even called it. I said if she wasn't going to win, she would go out in the first 3, and she did. So, yeah,
but
disappointing.
I called the ending during the show. I noticed that Carmella hadn't been eliminated, and there was Sarah Logan standing there celebrating. I thought, well, I've not seen Carmella go over, and sure enough, she appeared behind.
Mella pops up.
Finally eliminated Sarah Logan to win the Battle Royal. And as soon as it happened, I looked at you and I thought, well, surely we should have known that. It's a hometown night.
Yeah. I've got no complaints with Mella winning it. We like Carmella. She brings something a little bit different to the women's division.
I mean, Naomi won it last year, and what's she done with it? It means nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
whether or not Carmella will, something will develop with her from this,
probably
unlikely if you look back at previous years. But yeah, no complaints with Carmella winning it. Nothing really stand out from the match.
Nothing at all. Asuka going out second from last, eliminated by Sarah Logan.
Yeah.
Oh God, she's got buried. I'm not a big fan of that. I didn't think she'd win it. I thought she'd run out. I've just realised I've got a cat hair on my chin. I've just seen it on the camera.
Might be one of my beard hairs.
Lovely.
But yeah, as I say, nothing really of note from the Women's Battle Royal. Again, no complaints with Carmella winning. Expected maybe a little bit more from the Riot Squad.
Well, they did team up, and they were
but it was very short-lived.
Yeah.
Very
short-lived. Also, Sean's pick went out pretty quickly. Sean had Mandy Rose. Not really
I forgot she was in it.
Yeah, not much to do. Sonya Deville had a good showing, to be fair. But that's about it. I can still see that bleeding cat hair. Go away.
Suits you.
Alright. Next up, we had I think this was the best match on the pre-show, if I'm completely honest. And it went a lot longer than what we thought.
Yeah.
It was the Raw Tag Team Championship match. You had the Revival of the Champions versus Hawkins and Ryder, the former known Major Brothers. Great match. And was called how
Yeah, we all
me, you and Sean thought. It was a Kurt Hawkins roll-up for the win. The 269 streak, losing streak,
incredible.
is now over. Hawkins and Ryder are the Raw Tag Team Champions.
I know it's a statement you hear a lot in professional wrestling. You know, the chance of you deserve it when a superstar wins a title. But Kurt Hawkins, 269 matches without a win. No complaints. Consummate professional.
It was starting to die out, the fact of this losing streak story.
Yeah.
Like, I think now it was time to end, especially on the grandest stage of them all. And Zack Ryder, last year, did you know, I don't think he was on any Raw until the very last episode of the year. So it's nice to see them finally get used. I hope it's not what happened to Zack Ryder
when he won
3 years ago, when he won the IC title and then lost it the next night. I hope they don't lose it again. I think now that Hawkins has won a match, I think you need to go on a winning streak.
Yeah, definitely. Him and Zack Ryder, they've got natural chemistry in the ring. They love performing together. There's
very good
nothing to say that they couldn't take this tag team title on a good run. The Revival carried it very well. We know the Revival are very, very good. And
I've got a lot of respect for Dash Wilder after knocking out that idiot attack Bret Hart.
Dash Wilder now, going with his new finisher, which is just a solid right uppercut. But yeah, the Revival did well with the titles. But Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, what more could you want from a tag team?
I suppose you can argue it wasn't really booked well, but
Zack Ryder didn't do an awful lot. Hit a good Rough Rider spot. And yeah, I actually loved the way the match finished. It was a really solid performance from both teams.
There was a spot in the match where Hawkins sold it so well that I actually thought he was... Mind our cat. I thought Hawkins was actually legitimately knocked out at one point, because he literally just slumps like a sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
He sandbagged. And then you had... who was it? It was Dawson pick him up, and he caught him in a small package. 1, 2, 3. They're the champions.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. So, we'll leave that one there. And next up, we have the armbar.
Can we just explain why it's called the armbar? Because I had to get you and Sean to explain this to me. We've got a little group chat, and Paul and Sean kept mentioning the armbar, and I was like, am I missing something here? But apparently, no. It was a them thing and not a me thing.
Abbreviation.
Yeah.
Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I just cannot be asked to keep saying that. So we're going to go with armbar.
And so every time it was abbreviated, ironically, it came out as armbar. So, yeah.
So, winner, I'll just say straight off the bat, was Braun Strowman. Last eliminated Colin Jost, who is the luckiest man in the world because he's married to Scarlett Johansson, apparently. I only found that out.
And she's best friends with Jeremy Renner, and we'd all like to be with someone who's best friends with Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
I can't see what else you look for in Scarlett Johansson.
So, yeah.
She's been in some films.
Pinches.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, anyway, off topic. So, yeah, Braun Strowman won. I don't even think your pick, who was actually down to be in, was in the match. Shelton Benjamin was nowhere to be seen.
So, I think, in terms of our predictions, I should be allowed a pass on that one.
No.
Even though I'd still lose.
No, because my one wasn't in the Women's Battle Royal. Although that was my own fault, because she wasn't announced for it. She came out later on at WrestleMania and still done that stupid walk down, walk back, looked and posed at the crowd, and then left.
A couple of bits in the Men's Battle Royal that did stand out for me. Paul and I believe Sean even predicted this, that Colin Jost and Michael Che early on would just exit the ring and disappear for 10 minutes while the rest of the match got going.
They went underneath the ring.
And lo and behold, they pop out later on.
Literally in the exact same spot as I said, although Braun countered it. They came back in right when it was bare bones.
Braun trying to eliminate the Hardys. He's got the Hardys over the rope. And then Michael Che and Colin Jost think, we'll be smart. We'll grab him by the legs and try and tip him over the rope. And it failed miserably.
And they regretted all their life choices.
Yeah. Interesting spot, though. Colin Jost, Michael Che and Braun Strowman left in the ring. And the two celebrities decided to pull in a therapist to try and calm down Braun Strowman and talk him round.
He got chokeslammed for his troubles.
Yeah,
good sell though.
Poor therapist who's obviously got an amateur background in wrestling.
He sold the chokeslam
to
pretty
high
well.
hell and then chokeslammed. And then Braun Strowman just did Braun Strowman things, and yeah.
Oh, FYI, Michael Shea, before he got eliminated by Strowman, was over the. He tried to climb over, eliminate himself. Strowman grabbed him on the apron, and Strowman just slapped him straight round the face. Oh God! Oh, sitting there rubbing my cheek. And then Colin Jost got picked up by Strowman, and basically from a power slam position, he just threw him into a crowd of bodies that were laid out from a previous elimination.
Brilliant.
And Strowman won. My pick, Andrade.
Woeful.
Oh, that was stupid. Oh, no, he did make it to near the end, but I can't remember who it was he eliminated, but he done a Hurricane Rana on the person that was on the apron, but he landed on his feet on the end, so he near enough eliminated himself.
Yeah. Great
Clever.
Great little moment.
I thought he'd actually win it, because I thought, well, hang on, he's in it. He's near the end. Oh, my God, I could be right about it. No, he eliminated himself. Correct. That's one.
But as far as Battle Royals go, it was okay. No real standout moments. The ending was predictable, although none of us called Braun Strowman to win. We thought it was far too obvious. So yeah, that was a bit of a
boring thing.
I wouldn't say a non-event, so to speak, but it was, yeah, it could have done with an injection of excitement when you've got such stars in there as the Hardys. Who else do we have in there? Even Jinder Mahal. Like, I'm not his biggest fan, but
I'm no fan.
No, very quiet throughout. And Titus O'Neil managed to get into the ring okay, so congrats, Titus.
Just want to point out the no longer Mustafa, but the Ali spot. So Luke Harper also was back in this match.
How did we forget that?
He's dropped some weight.
Luke
and he
Harper
looks
looking
superb. Trim. So basically, he had Mustafa Ali. While he's outside on the apron, he had Mustafa Ali up in a suplex position, and then Braun Strowman just comes in and big boots him out, and Ali falls all the way to the outside. And oh, what a bump!
Just took a tumble and caught the side of his face right on the corner of the announce table. I believe he has since put out on his Instagram story that he's alive, which is always a plus.
Yeah, just put up, ouch.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we probably better move on because we're nearly half hour in and we're only in the pre-show and we've still got another God knows how many matches.
6 hours.
Yeah, so anyway, to start off with, Alexa Bliss come out for the first time of 3. Each time she changed her dress.
She's like Madonna. But I like Alexa Bliss.
I love Alexa Bliss.
Alexa's great. I'm glad she got to feature as much as she did. Just a shame it wasn't.
And it wasn't annoying either.
No, not at all.
It was the right amount of appearances and for the right spots.
As far as hosting goes.
Now, we'll just skip ahead quickly. The third and final time she came out, just before the women's main event, she did announce the attendance record. Now, WWE do like to elaborate their attendance records. Back at WrestleMania 32, they said it was something like 101,000, where Dave Meltzer actually said, well, no, if you add all the attendances and all the people that work there, it's still only about 97,000 people. So they do like to elaborate and, I can't think of the word, but
exaggerate.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Exaggerate the numbers. But they said the official number was 82,265, which was a record for there. Now, the last time they were there was WrestleMania 29. It was Rutherford, New Jersey. So, yeah, not bad.
Good attendance.
Good attendance. So anyway, so we start off. Alexa Bliss comes out and she basically says, at the click of my hand, or click of my fingers, I can make a WrestleMania moment. So she stands there, does that, and then we hear Real American.
And I've got to say, the atmosphere in the venue we watched the wrestling last night was just incredible. No cheers, nothing, just boos, outright boos.
In the arena though, they did cheer, but where we was, everyone booed, including
the inclusion of Hulk Hogan was just.
I don't get it.
Insulting.
A little bit.
Quite frankly.
Again, it's like I put on the video the other day about the Bret Hart attack, you know.
Yeah. But again, this is purely opinions. This is just our opinions. You may feel differently. That's for you to decide.
When I first got into wrestling when I was younger...
There's a cat again.
Oh, cat. You're not helping the professionalism thing. When I first got into wrestling years and years ago when I was young, Hulk Hogan was my favourite.
Yeah.
And then I realised what the man was like backstage, i.e. SummerSlam 2005 with Shawn Michaels. Now, if you don't know what that is, go and look it up. Hulk Hogan was a bit of a... a-hole, let's put it that way.
Yeah, the only time I really ever got behind Hogan was the whole NWO thing.
Cat, move, please. Thank you. Sorry. But, yeah, I mean, it was good. WrestleMania 18, when he came out, was pretty interesting.
Yeah, as I say, like, the only time I've ever been behind Hogan was when he joined the NWO. But this whole inclusion was just... I don't know. It seemed like seemed like a desperate attempt by Vince and the WWE to reinsert Hogan into the picture with WWE after, you know, previous
Do you know what
events.
would have been really insulting? To get him come out in the Kofi Kingston match and award the belt. That would have been a serious, like...
But we won't say why, because you're smart and you know.
Even though you probably would have guessed.
But him and Alexa, they did a bit of...
Did a bit of the old Hogan pose, and Alexa sort of was standing. You could see in her face, she was like,
She didn't look like she enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was Hogan doing the old sort of doing that, and she was sitting there like...
But the one thing I will say is, whoever booked this moment coming up, brilliant. Cutting Hogan off short with Paul Heyman. We lost our collective minds.
Yeah, the booking...
Nobody knew what the hell was going on. Heyman struts out there, cool as you like. And is there anyone out there that doesn't like Paul Heyman?
Oh, no.
It's hard to dislike the guy. He comes out interrupting Alexa and Hogan and makes quite possibly the announcement of the year.
Basically, I think one of the best booking decisions. Heyman comes out and he basically said, well, if Brock Lesnar's not going to be in the main event, we don't want to stick around any longer than we have to be, so that match is going to be now.
We're here to collect our paycheck and we're going.
Yep, so Lesnar comes out with the Universal Championship. I forgot what the bleeding thing looks like. Oh, no, I didn't, because it looks like a jar of jam. So, yeah, Brock Lesnar comes out, and then we have a little good Titan piece. Where it comes out when it says the old, you know, it gives up Brock Lesnar's back tattoo with the sword going down through it, and then it just comes up with Beast Slayer, and then Seth Rollins comes out.
Absolutely wicked.
Yeah. The match though, so there was a good little beatdown segment at the start. Lesnar also, so he took off the part of the announce table, the plastic, or sort of
the plastic WWE covering.
Put it on the side, and he hip tossed Rollins into it. Now a little bit broke off, and if you look later on when the match actually started, it did actually cut Rollins back.
Nice couple of welts and cuts.
A little bit painful, but the match itself,
the atmosphere in the arena completely changed as soon as Rollins' music hit as well.
Oh yeah.
Just the crowd were massively behind it. The fact that we were getting a Universal title defense as the first match at WrestleMania, and not between just two average stars either. It was Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins.
Considering it closed out at 34.
Arguably the most popular wrestler at the moment in Seth Rollins, apart from Kofi, and one of the most vilified of all time, Brock Lesnar. To begin WrestleMania with that, what a decision.
So
completely changed. Well, it completely changed the outlook of Mania. Yeah. None of us expected it.
It sort of set you off on a good path, because you need the first match to be good, you need the final match to be good.
Definitely.
And I think this sort of set the pace. I mean, I know, again, it petered out a little bit later on, but it was pretty good. So, basically, the match finally started after about 5 minutes of a beatdown outside.
Yeah, Lesnar rushing to intercept Rollins entering the ring with a couple of stiff kicks.
And the bell never rang. So when the bell finally rang, Lesnar carried on beating down for a few minutes, a couple of German suplexes, not that many. He'd already hit an F5 on the outside, but there was no F5 in the ring. And then we got a ref bump. And Rollins hit a low blow.
Two low blows.
That was one.
Two low blows or just a one?
One low blow.
Oh yeah, we predicted multiple low blows, didn't we? But such a good low blow, he only needed the one.
So he hit a low blow, he then hit his super kick while Lesnar was on his knees, and then 3 curb stomps.
Sold very well, that super kick, actually.
Oh yeah, very, very good. But yeah, 3 curb stomps, so 5 moves in all, and Rollins is your Universal Champion. Now, one thing, again, you didn't see, it was a little bit like the Walter and Pete Dunne match.
Yeah, very sort of subtle moment, but it was nice to see. Just a little bit of mutual respect between the two.
Everyone slates Brock Lesnar, but when Lesnar's invested in a match, you can tell it's definitely what he wanted. And what you guys didn't see was when Rollins was standing there, Lesnar was laying on the mat. Rollins did slyly say thank you, and Lesnar, again, a bit like Pete Dunne, you could see him just mouth, you deserve it.
I think maybe Lesnar's actually quite relieved to drop the title. There's no way he wants all, you know, he doesn't mind being a heel. Brock Lesnar is, you know, he is a good heel, but he must have been getting fed up with being booked this way.
Well, he actually wanted to face Rollins.
That's right.
It's the same as Finn Balor at Royal Rumble. He wanted to face Balor at Royal Rumble last year, but WWE was having none of it, so they had Strowman and Kane in that absolute cluster of a match.
Cluster Foxtrot.
Yeah, cluster Foxtrot of a match. And that's why he got his wish this year, and he had Finn Balor. which wasn't as
And I've
good
got to be
as
honest, although it was a quick match, like the 3-minute beatdown at the beginning, I think the running time of the match itself after the ring bell was just over 2 minutes.
It's 3.
But in total, it was good. It was better than the Goldberg and Brock Lesnar squash. I don't think this was by any means a squash
it weren't
at
better than
all.
the Goldberg Lesnar squash. That match was great. Oh wait, what one are you talking about?
Survivor
Series. No, I love that. I thought that was
I
brilliant.
don't think this was by any means a squash at all. I think it was just they've given Rollins. They've added a real sort of sense of belief behind him that he is capable of beating the biggest and the baddest stars. We know he can carry a title. We know he can, we know he's going to do good things for it.
And believe it or not, did you know this is his first World Championship since Money in the Bank 2016, when all 3 members of the Shield won it that night. Rollins was the second shortest champion. Andre the Giant was the shortest, where he held it for literally a minute. And Seth Rollins held the championship for 2 minutes that night, where Dean Ambrose cashed in, hit him with the belt. Hit him with the briefcase, and then hit him with the dirty deeds. So,
great cash in.
Yeah, his second shortest championship.
Probably my second favourite cash in of all time behind Edge, because I'm a massive Edge head.
No, best cash in with Rollins. 31.
Oh, what, the triple threat? No, just because I'm a massive Edge head.
Right, so next up we had, if the cat will get off the notes.
Yeah, he's covering up our notes.
Come on, move, sod bag. Go. Good boy. Right, so next up we had, sorry, we had to write this down because we knew we'd forget the order.
There's a lot going on.
We had AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, and this one
High expectations.
High expectations, and although it was a serviceable match, there were some good spots. Didn't live up to expectations.
No.
Nothing.
The
finish was very poor.
As you say,
it was a very sorry guys. It was a very sloppy.
Can we do that again?
That's all right. Don't worry about it. It was a very sloppy finish, I think.
Yeah. Again, like with so many of the matches for last night, there was a lot of potential. 2 stars like AJ Styles and Randy Orton, they're going to put on a heck of a show. Good chemistry in the ring as well.
I think what everyone was expecting was this out of this world RKO, and we just saw one standard RKO which Styles kicked out of.
Well hit.
Oh, good sell as well. But that's AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, where he sells it better than most. I wouldn't say that as a whole it was underwhelming. The finish of the match itself did underwhelm a little bit, just because it's Randy Orton, it's AJ Styles, it's Wrestlemania. Whether it's down to us expecting too much.
Now we said in our predictions that they'd already given away the phenomenal forearm into the RKO, and we saw at one spot which was pretty good. Styles went for a phenomenal forearm, which Orton then went for an RKO. He done a sort of backdrop, and Styles held onto the ropes. So
Great little counter. Great little counter.
And then he hit a 450. Now, I said to you two at that time, I thought, oh, I know exactly what the finish is going to be. He's going to go for another springboard 450 and Orton's going to catch him on an RKO, which would have been an epic finish. But no, they didn't do it in the end, unfortunately. And it was just a random phenomenal forearm into the finish. So that's what that was. Not very good, but, that was the match. So next up we had the Usos versus Rusev Nakamura, Aleister Black and Ricochet, and The Bar. Superb match. This was match of WrestleMania up to that point.
Yeah, definitely. As excited as I got for the whole Rollins and Lesnar segment, as the crowd loved it, but this was just, took it up a notch.
And you predicted this one right, didn't you? I had Black and Ricochet instead of Shawn.
But when you've got 4 teams, Usos, Black and Ricochet, The Bar, even Rusev and Nakamura, I know they're not, what's the word? Legitimate tag team. They're 2 great in-ring performers. Rusev's an absolute monster.
I'm marked out for Ricochet's entrance, though.
Ricochet and Aleister Black.
I love that LED circle light he has. That was just brilliant.
Aleister Black's jacket as well. Paul said it on the night. Ridley Scott is going to be after him because that was alien worthy. The way they're booking Ricochet and Black, if they don't go on and do big things,
I think the fact
we both said future WWE champions.
I think they paired them because I think they had this WrestleMania match in mind just to get them on the card. But I've got a feeling now that they're cheers, Cat. Now they're on the main roster, I've got a feeling that they're going to probably separate them now and just go with a singles run.
Yeah. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't want to see them feud anytime soon.
No.
I want to see
Both
Ricochet.
need to stay face.
I want to see Black. You know, both with title runs in mind. Maybe IC, maybe US title. But the idea of those two feuding, I don't know. I don't know why, but I just don't want it.
So near the end of the match, we had basically everyone run in and hit a finisher. We saw a 450. We saw a Kinshasa.
A great segment of like an exchange of super kicks, Kinshasas,
and a great sell. I can't remember who hit it on, but a great sell from
Ricochet.
Black Mass kick.
Oh no, yeah. Oh,
that was great. But
who was it that Ricochet took the kick from? Was it Sheamus he took the bro kick from?
Oh yes, it was. He took a bro kick from Sheamus and he literally rotated full backwards backflip.
We know he's capable of it, but to do it from a bro kick in that segment, it was kick after kick after kick. It was
no exaggeration. Brilliant. The best bro kick sell to date, I think.
Yeah.
Sheamus has been around since 2009. No one has sold the bro kick better than what that was. That was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, the match was ended by a double splash from the Usos. Again, that's really bad. I can't remember who it was on.
We're forgetting one bit though.
What?
The spot in the corner.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, that was so. Basically, we had another Tower of Doom spot. Ricochet was up top.
So much good stuff happened.
Not a superplex Tower of Doom spot. Ricochet was facing backwards to a back suplex, and he was right at the top. And Ricochet managed to rotate when everyone else went down, and Ricochet landed
on his feet like an absolute hero.
Oh, superb.
All the others down. Ricochet just stood there. I don't think even Ricochet realised at the time that
he did almost botch it, but he managed to just land it. And I think it was Nakamura that took the pinfall. I've got a feeling it was either Rusev or Nakamura. One of the two.
It was.
It wasn't either member of the bar. I think it was either Rusev or Nakamura. Again, guys, we're really tired. So
much happened.
Oh, but yeah, so the outcome of it all was the Usos.
I'm glad the Usos won.
I'm not. I wanted to win the prediction.
Yeah, about a year or so ago, I was kind of bored with the Usos. You know, the whole. I don't know. I just didn't like them being two face. If you know what I mean, they were just
baby.
Two baby face. They're not quite heel at the moment, but this whole Uso penitentiary stuff is good. I like it.
What I like, they brought this character out for a heel run, and then when they turned face, they've still kept this dark persona, like this bad guy, tough persona.
Yeah.
Yet they're good guys, and I think that's good because I hate it when they turn face and all of a sudden they're this nice baby cheery. No,
they'd have been two baby face. They were two baby face like the New Day are now. Not that I've got anything wrong with the New Day. They are booked perfectly. The New Day, that gimmick is great.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
But yeah, so anyway, moving on, we had... Oh, so before this match, we had all the Hall of Famers come out. We had DX, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. We also had Tori Wilson. Oh, God bless her.
Joe Cohen? That guy, I don't know who he is, but he was there, Joe Cohen. The lady who was a recipient of the Warrior Award.
Oh, yeah, she was out there as well.
Who does the work for...
Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish, yes. And she was also there with...
John Cena's 600 Wish. So God bless you, John Cena.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but Tori Wilson, I mean, I've got so much respect for
her.
Lot
of strength.
After losing her father only recently, she's come out as well. After that, we had...
I mean, I lost my father in a supermarket once, and I was in bits for weeks. Yeah, but to do what she did last night, yeah, respect to her. Carried herself like a true professional. Yeah, Dad would have been proud of her. Natalia out there with Bret Hart to represent her father as well, which was a really nice spot.
Bret Hart also did make an appearance later on when Natalia and Beth Phoenix come out for their match. But again, we'll get to that.
Good to see Bret looking strong.
So he was out. So for those of you that don't know, again, we put this in our reactions video. We filmed a little clip at the start of our reactions video that will go right at the beginning.
Yeah, we're just going to do sort of like a little highlights reel of our our reactions and stuff.
But just to clarify, Bret Hart did go to hospital. The way he landed, he actually hurt his hip. And don't forget, this man is a cancer survivor and a stroke survivor.
And 61 years old.
And 61 years old.
And had been wrestling for, what, 40 years? So he's probably going to have a few aches and pains.
So he did, but it was only a precaution that he wanted to get. He actually checked himself in just to get checked up, make sure he was all okay. And then he come out and he was at WrestleMania, which was absolutely superb. So props to them. Anyway, next up we have Shane McMahon versus The Miz. Now, what a match! I actually thought this was really, really good for what it was.
We knew it wouldn't disappoint.
It wasn't a technical masterpiece, but for what it was, this match was pretty.
It was
good.
a brawl.
It was a brawl, and
between
George,
two very good technical superstars.
Good old George come out. He stopped Shane from doing his elbow off the turnbuckle to the announce table outside. He got in, got his old fisticuffs up.
Put up your dukes, man. Put up your dukes.
And Shane McMahon just ended everything. He sold it. He sold it very well,
George
didn't he?
Sold it well.
Apart from the way he laid down on the mat afterwards, he looked like he was taking a nap. It was quite funny.
And you kept seeing his eyes open just a little bit, just to make sure no one was looking at him. But the one thing I will say from that segment was Miz's reaction to it all. It was so genuine and so believable. He was like, "What have you just done to my father?" And Miz went mad. He was sort of crazy.
It's the double take look, and you just look at the person that's just done it. You think, "I'm gonna flipping kill you."
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill you, and so he did.
Shane tried his best to run, but yeah, it was great.
So they ended up in the outside. Now, my prediction wasn't exactly correct, but I did.
Incorrect.
It wasn't incorrect. I did predict that there would be an airbag spot, and there was. So they ended up going up to some scaffold structure. Shane did kick out because he's the best in the world. Kick out of his cold crushing finale.
Yes.
On the mat of this.
But he did take one up on like a platform, like a scaffold platform with a bit of wood on the bottom as the floor. And he did. Was it a DDT he took or a skull crushing finale?
Skull crushing finale.
And
and they also they went up to the back where all the Mandarin, Russian, French announce teams are.
Excellent.
Got thrown through every single table. We actually got put through one of the because they've only got the wooden tables because they're not out on the front. Got put through another one of those tables, and then he got hit with a monitor. And now there's a railing there, and then there's a drop for everyone to leave in the arena, and there was a random golf buggy there.
Just a golf buggy there, just sitting there.
So when Shane took this shot, he went over the railing and went onto the top of the golf buggy.
It was a heck of a bump.
But he nearly missed it. He only hit the
edge. But also,
edge.
bear in mind, he's hit the roof of this golf buggy, and then fallen onto a concrete floor as well. There's no padding down there because there were fans walking in and out. It was out sort of like the concession stands, the outside, the concourse of the arena. And Shane took a hell of a bump on the concrete.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good, if I'm completely honest. But so that happened. And then after that, like I say, they went up to the scaffold structure because obviously that was before. Sorry, we got a bit ahead of ourselves there. Then they went up to the scaffold structure. And the finish was Shane McMahon begging for his life because for some reason he forgot that he was the best in the world for a second.
Baby.
Like a bee to the itch. And then, Miz hit a super I'll call it a supremeplex.
A hyperplex.
Yeah, hyperplex. Off the top, big fall, but the problem was because
brilliantly executed.
Because the air where they were, it's an airbag obviously, but it's supposed to be a hard structure, wood structure that they went through. I keep forgetting the camera's inverted. Structure they went through, they sort of concaved on each other, and Shane actually fell on top of Miz. And Shane McMahon, the best in the world.
One with a little bit of luck on his side.
Won the damn match.
But the great thing taken from that is that we know it's going to lead on to more.
I think we knew that.
Yeah.
I think this is
Crown Jewel. Money in the Bank.
Do you know what I think I can see? It's going to be obviously Vince is going to get involved, but I can see George being on the sidelines. Miz is going to finally beat Shane down, and George is going to be tagged in and get the pinfall.
Or George is going to hit the skull crushing finale on Shane.
Or George is going to go up and hit a shooting star press.
Or George is going to climb 50 foot in the air and take a Shane bump. I mean, why not?
We're obviously kidding. But unfortunately, Shane McMahon did win that match, which none of us predicted.
But as I say, taken from it, there's going to be more going forward between these two, and I love to see these two face off against each other.
It was a good match.
Shane,
For what it was,
Shane
it was a
never
good match.
disappoints, and Miz is just, one of my favourites.
So next up, we had the Boss and Hug defending their Raw tag titles, defending their women's tag titles against the Samoan Slaughterhouse, which FR is the worst tag team name I've ever heard in my life. I laughed my head off. I literally was in tears when I heard that name. Yes, Samoan Slaughterhouse of Tamina and Nia Jax versus Beth Phoenix and Natalya and the Iconics, and I was very smug because of how the finish was.
Yes.
If you take out Nia Jax and put in Bayley, it was exactly how I called it. The Iconics stole the tag, and Beth Phoenix hit her Glam Slam.
Played out as well. It wasn't, I just think the Iconics, they didn't feature an awful lot. They spent quite a bit of time outside the ring, but when they were in the ring and they were involved in the action, yeah, it was great.
So Beth Phoenix hit the Glam Slam on Bayley, but before that, Billie Kay stole a tag off of Beth Phoenix.
Yeah, Beth had Bayley up on the middle rope,
Avalanche,
picked her up onto the top rope, dropped her with a Glam Slam, but just before Beth jumped off, who was it, Peyton Royce or Billie
No,
Kay?
Billie Kay.
Billie Kay jumped up from outside the ring. You couldn't even see her. She was hiding behind the apron. She's jumped up, tagged Beth, and
Beth hit the move. She went for the cover. Obviously, the ref wasn't counting, and she sort of asked
Peyton Royce come in, threw her
grabbed
out
her
the
by
ring,
the hair, threw her out, and Billie Kay come in, got the pinfall.
swooped in.
Just again, if you ignore the fact it was Bayley instead of Nia Jax, it was just how I called it.
But all in all, a pretty good match.
Better than I thought.
Really
I mean, again, it wasn't anything spectacular. We're not talking a 5-star Dave
when it
Meltzer
comes
classic,
to when it comes to multiple tag team matches, I'm not a massive fan.
I said this in the
I
reaction
struggle
videos.
to get behind them, but yeah, everyone involved performed really well. I hate to say it, even Nia Jax and Tamina put on a pretty good show.
Yeah.
I've got nothing against Nia Jax or Tamina. I just think they're booked pretty badly.
Well, I don't think Tamina can wrestle well, but we won't go into that one. But again, I said this in the reaction video.
Yeah, she's booked badly because she's booked as a wrestler.
Well, yeah. But I said this in the reaction video. But obviously you guys said it in a few days. I don't like the concept, especially with the men's one as well, where there's only 2 people in the ring.
Yeah, if it's going to be a fatal 4-way,
have
get 4
men
people in the ring.
I don't get it. I don't like that concept. I didn't like it when they were doing the triple threats before.
But
for
that
the
being
Elimination
said,
Chamber.
with the 2 people in the ring, it allowed for the sneaky tag, and it gave us a pretty good ending to what was probably, out of all the tag matches, I'd say probably the second best of the tag matches.
There's only 2 tag matches.
Well, apart from the, I'm thinking of TakeOver again, aren't I?
Again, I think even the TakeOver
It
matches
was
were better.
the second best tag match of the night. So it wasn't the worst.
So, next up we had what we will say was match of the night, and I actually will go out on a limb and say it was match of the weekend. Now, we both got the prediction wrong, but I do not care. Now, a little side note, I've always been criticising WWE. The WWE Championship has been around since 1963. That's a long time. To the start of this match, there had been 50 holders.
I was only 5 at the time.
There had been 50 holders of the championship. Not one of them had been black. The closest we had come to was The Rock, who is half black, half Samoan, yet throughout the WWE he had always been billed as a Samoan. And Kofi
It's not like
Kingston,
we haven't had people previous that have been good enough either. I'm not saying there's anything behind
is one
it.
that springs to mind for me.
I'm not saying there's anything behind it. We won't get into that sort of thing.
No, we won't go
but
into that
it's surprising nonetheless. I'm going to say, like, growing up, Booker T was always one of my favourites. I started off watching WCW on a Friday night.
I mean, the World Heavyweight Championship in WWE, it was only 2 black superstars that held it, Booker T and Mark Henry.
Yeah.
No others.
And Mark Henry as well.
Love
another,
Mark Henry.
just a great all-round performer.
Hall of Pain was just his best run in his career. And that retirement speech. Anyway, we're going off subject.
We digress.
But, so, to sum it up, match of the night, the crowd were so behind. There is one little thing we do have a gripe with, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes.
But Kofi Kingston, after kicking out of the Bushiwai knee, I think that's how you pronounce it, I probably actually butchered that, but Obashida knee, I'm not going to...
Daniel Bryan gets his knee and hits it in someone's face. Yeah.
Kofi kicked out, and then finally we got Trouble in Paradise, won 2, 3. The 51st holder of the belt.
Yes.
And the first black WWE champion.
I
I got the prediction wrong. I do not care.
Yeah.
This is what made me lose my voice.
I think all in all, it was booked incredibly well. It was played out really well. There wasn't a lot of outside interference either, which was really good to see. There was a moment where Rowan tried getting involved, and then Big E and Xavier Woods
hit the up, down, down.
Yeah, just excellent.
And
really
Woods,
well booked.
Woods done it off of the. He ran off of the announce table and jumped off to assist in the obviously the finisher. But what a
no
great
hint
match.
of a heel turn from Big E either. Not yet.
Maybe we'll see that soon.
But yeah, generally just a fantastic match.
Now, our gripe with the match, and also
I picked up on this right at the beginning as
well.
well.
Yeah, he did actually. I'll give him credit.
Sean and Paul were busy doing, discussing things, and as D. Bryan walked into the arena, he's walked down to the ring. He's gone to the outside just as Kofi's making his entrance. And he's taken his title and he's put it on a stand, on a plinth. And I hadn't noticed any, previous matches involving the titles. I hadn't noticed this been done, whether or not that was just down to it not being filmed. But where Daniel Bryan had put it down, there was a shape of another title belt. Part of me thought maybe this was just to secure the title belt in place. But I looked at Paul and I looked at Sean and I said, have they just given away the fact that D. Bryan is going to lose the match and Kofi is going to win, bringing out the new title, or the old title, the better title, the Carnivore title.
Daisy 2.0.
Yeah, and it just, I don't know, it didn't take anything away from the match.
No, not at all. But it did telegraph.
Yeah.
And a lot of people online noticed it as well. And there was a few gripes.
We've said about it earlier on today. Could it have just been WWE trying to throw the double bluff? Oh, look, they've got the title out there. He's obviously going to win. But then you think, oh no, they're doing that to trick us.
No, I said to you just before we started recording, I think they should have done this. So Kofi wins the match as is, and then Woods and Big E get in the ring.
Yeah.
And then Woods calls for the back. Instead of this horrible, I mean, I love it, but this horrible championship that Daniel Bryan had, they call to the back, and you can have Bootyworth, Mr. Bootyworth, come down with the belt in hand and present it to him that way. And they could have done it there, but no, they didn't. But this was match of the night, absolutely superb. Other downside, though, I think this is what drained the majority of the energy away from the crowd, and this was at the halfway point.
Yeah.
And another little upshot, Kofi's 2 kids, because his wife was at ringside, his other 2 kids come in the ring, and his older boy, they got T-shirts which had his championship on, and his older boy got up on the turnbuckle and started celebrating with a T-shirt, and the crowd absolutely went mad for it, and oh well, I was smiling so hard at this that I'm still doing it now. My cheeks actually hurt.
Lovely moment. But I have predicted that Kofi Kingston's eldest son is going to feud with Lio Rush over the next few months. And squash him.
He's literally a mini-me, Lio Rush. There's going to be a few questions with Kofi's wife about that one, isn't there?
But that was a nice moment, proper New Day celebrations. Yeah.
Great match.
All in all,
great match.
Highlight of the night, I think.
Yeah. Definitely match, 100% match of the night. So, yeah, we'll leave that one there. This match, though, I've got
Samoa Joe.
I've got some gripes with this match.
Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio.
It lasted or if you go by what we went by, which is Wikipedia, it goes exactly 1 minute.
Now, there was a moment in the match. Joe's got Mysterio from behind, picks him up in almost like a full Nelson position, and drops Rey on his backside. Just as Rey lands, he kind of his heels bed into the ring, and I thought at that moment you heard Rey
But the way that the match continued, it wasn't like the ref sort of spoke to him asking, "Okay, do you want to finish this?" Yeah, or anything. I think this was always part of the match.
Very, very surprising.
So, for those of you that didn't watch our prediction video, even though Mania's happened, please go and watch it.
Yeah, please do. A lot of funny stuff.
And like and subscribe.
And all of this. So
maybe not.
Some of that.
But so. For those who don't know, on Monday Night Raw against Baron Corbin, Rey Mysterio did actually injure his ankle, and he was a question for
legitimate injury as well, not storyline.
And he was a question for whether he'd be in this match or not. Now I've got a feeling he was still injured and probably couldn't do much. If that's the case, and it went a minute, I don't think this match should have gone on. I think you should have probably just dropped Mysterio. As much as I'm sorry, because Dominic wasn't even there. Dominic's being, he's being booked up.
I've seen some of his stuff on social media as well. He's been in training with his dad, and if you're going to learn from someone to be like to perform as a luchador,
from your dad who's been wrestling since he was 15.
Learn from Ray. Obviously, there are other luchas out there who are equally as good, if not better. But yeah, learn from your dad. And Dominic's obviously picking up a thing or two, and he's looking good.
Dominic wasn't there. Was nowhere to be seen. The match lasted 1 minute. We did see a 619. But yeah, I mean, one thing, Joe did take a very good DDT. He literally jumped into it. But yeah, it lasted a minute. If this is the case and Rey Mysterio was injured, I would have just dropped Mysterio, and I would have had Kevin Owens in there, who wasn't even on the show, wasn't even in the Battle Royal.
Disappointment.
I would have had Kevin Owens come in. But yeah, that's all we got to say about that. But again,
it is all down to our expectations and what we'd like to see. There were things we didn't get to see that we'd like to see, and yeah, of course we're disappointed by it. But I've got to say, although it was over quick, Samoa Joe looked dominant. Yeah. And that's what I want to see from Joe. I don't want to see him keep getting beaten by...
Going back to longevity of title runs, we need to see Joe have a long run just to,
Didn't he do it in TNA? He had a really long undefeated streak. Joe's got it in him.
Angle that ended it in the end.
That's right. What was it?
He actually tapped
something
Joe
Mafia?
Out.
Always forget now.
No, that was later on, Main Event Mafia.
That's it.
That was a few years later. But
Joe... You can well believe he can take a long title run.
So basically, the finish was after like we said, that looked like injury spot. He got him in the Coquina clutch. Mysterio just passed out, and the match literally lasted exactly 1 minute.
Yeah.
So the match lasted short, and we're not going to say.
But as far as squashes go, it was believable.
So next up we have. I can find my notes.
Probably on the floor.
Oh no, it's there. Oops. So yeah, next up we had Roman versus Drew. Oh no! Before that we had the Elias segment.
No, that was after.
Was that after?
Yeah, I believe it was after.
We did have Roman versus Drew.
Although it did look like Drew versus Drew or Roman versus Roman a lot of the time.
They looked
just like Roman in his pants.
Drew's entrance was great. He had a live band out there. He had about
400 bagpipes.
At least 20 people there.
It was like watching Braveheart.
It literally was. So they are out there with their bagpipes and drums.
Bagpipes, kilts.
It gave me goosebumps. I thought that was a good entrance. Followed up by Roman Reigns.
I do think with Drew's entrance as well, it gives him a real intimidation factor. Like, Drew's a heck of a powerful man. He's intimidating as it comes.
And I tell you what, an entrance like that, I think that really gives good vibes to his nickname.
Yeah, definitely.
But next up we have Roman Reigns come out. He'd done his old cock fist down into the ground, cock his fist.
Cocked his fist.
That's just so wrong, doesn't it? Loaded it. So he had that.
Should we go and get some tissue?
He does it down into the ground, and I'm going to ignore that comment. And great pyro.
Yeah, fantastic.
Pyro was back.
It was great to see the pyro come back.
Went all over the place, all around the arena. There was some pyro over the back. Roman Reigns come in. Now this was actually a good match.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit simplified, a good match, but I had gripes with the ending. The ending was just like, oh, that's the end, right?
Oh, what? Wait, yeah.
It was literally a Superman punch and then a spear. I was expecting a kick out, and it just ended. And I was like, oh okay, that's the end.
It has made me wonder a lot what their plan is for Drew, because after the whole 3MB segment of his career, they just completely squashed him and wrote him out.
I do think they're going to. I hope it's not Roman. I think they need, if they're serious about keeping Roman on the good side of the fans, I think they need to keep him away from the world title picture up until next WrestleMania. And I would actually have possibly a rematch. If it's not what we said earlier on about the Rock and
I think maybe
Rock and Roman segment, I would like.
I think this match was simplified quite a bit. Maybe. We did mention on this when we were watching the event itself that maybe Roman was suffering with a bit of ring rust. As much as I think he's an absolute consummate professional, looks in great shape regardless of what's been going on with him. I do think maybe there was a slight concern from backstage,
because the match went about 10 minutes.
Yeah, that maybe Roman's not quite
up to date yet.
Yeah, he's not quite fully ready just yet. But I think it is enough to keep interest high between him and Drew. Going towards Money in the Bank, maybe Roman just needs a little bit more time in the ring.
So if it was up to me,
I'd love to see those two.
Plug for my video later on.
Shameless plug.
That was actually an unintentional plug as well. I didn't mean to do that.
Definitely wasn't. You've got it written down here. Shameless plug.
But if it was up to me, I would say keep Roman away from the title until next year's Mania.
I think
maybe
just
have
a long
Drew
feud.
beat. You build Drew up now. Have Drew beat Seth, and then you have a rematch for the Universal title next year.
Yeah, I generally think, you know, Roman and Drew, the feud could go really well, and also it's going to build favour with Roman and the fans of keeping Roman face, because Drew is such a good heel, and I know fans got a bit tired of Roman being a face and they wanted a heel turn.
I would say with the Fox deal coming in and SmackDown probably becoming the biggest show.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be a bit speculation because I know Raw's always been the big show, but
I like SmackDown because SmackDown is blue, and blue is my favourite colour.
Ditto. But I would have Roman go over to SmackDown.
Yeah.
I would maybe have Drew stay. Maybe Seth, because Seth again
I'd
needs
like
to hold
see
it
a bit more
while.
between Roman and AJ as well, just because I like what the two of them do together.
But I would like to see Seth hold it for a while, and maybe Drew beats Seth in a Hell in a Cell match all the way down in October.
Again, Seth, with the whole Brock Lesnar moment, solidified his place as one of the elite. Not all elite. One of the elite. He can mix it up with the biggest and the baddest. There's always this thing of Vince loving, you know, the bigger stars, the powerful, ripped Bobby Lashley's, Drew McIntyre's, Batista's. You know, Seth isn't. I'm not going to say he's small by any means. I believe he's what, 6 foot, 6'1".
He's taller than me. Let's put it that way.
You know, he's got a great physique. He's strong.
Most
he's
people
powerful.
are taller than me.
But he can mix it with the bigger guys. He can mix it with the likes of Drew. You know, even Strowman. I don't want to just see Rollins fighting with people of the same stature. I like to see it mixed up a bit.
What you can't do
he showed with Lesnar that he can be dominant. He can own a match. He can control it. He can run it at his tempo.
Well, anyone can run a match when you kick people in the nuts.
Yeah.
Punch people in the nuts.
Punch him in the bum. That low blow was awful.
Oh yeah, he literally he didn't even like low blow him up the nuts.
Like he was
sort
grabbing
like
him like, by the belt and just pulling down.
But you know,
the point was made.
One thing I don't want to see is this same stereotype of a match where, you know, he's the smaller guy.
Yeah,
so
I don't want to keep seeing the big guy going over.
It's a problem that WWE have, and they've had for a long time, where it's this same booking decision.
They did it with another match later on in the evening that we'll be getting to soon.
Good guy gets beaten down, and all of a sudden he makes a slight comeback, and the bad guy loses. I don't like that. I think you need to see a bit of a
seen it too much, haven't we?
Yeah. So anyway,
not taking away anything from the match.
Roman Reigns won. Spear.
Crowd was elated. Roman obviously looked very emotional at the end, and genuinely very pleased to see him.
This is the loudest cheer Roman's got at WrestleMania all the way.
And I did make a joke about the pyrotechnics, saying that Vince was going to guarantee a pop for Roman when he came out.
But this was the biggest cheer that Roman Reigns has got at WrestleMania since WrestleMania.
It was nice to see the crowd getting behind him
with the Shield. I don't think he has ever.
He's never had a big.
He's never had a big
ovation
pop
like that. Yeah.
Solo. But
and also, it didn't feel like he was being forced upon us with this one either.
No.
It kind of played itself out naturally. I think the fact that Drew initiated the whole feud, wiping out the Shield,
and mentioning his family.
Yeah, of course. I think props to Drew for making this match what it was, and hopefully they feud for a bit longer.
No, because I think you'll end up burying Drew.
Yeah, I don't want to see Drew get buried.
Just split them up now and have Drew go for another feud, I think. But yeah, so that was that done. And next we had the Elias segment. Wow, this was... I think this sapped out the final... Well, other than maybe the Triple H Batista, I think that got the final
There was a lot of expectation for this. A lot of different predictions flying around, a lot of rumours. I was pleased to see Elias. I'm glad he got along, a good couple of minutes there.
Stood there with drums, piano, and
a guitar. And the crowd, he did his usual spiel, and then the crowd started chanting, "Who?" or what is it?
Oh, walk with Elias.
We're going to have to cut that out, that's awful.
No.
But then he started playing the music to it.
And the crowd were completely behind him. The whole arena followed him. That was superb.
Yeah.
And then, we're thinking...
This weird... this completely...
we had some New York Babe Ruth
we were like,
promo.
It came up on the screen black and grey, and we thought, Bray Wyatt's back. They're going back to the whole, you know, weird swamp skits and stuff. Footage of like the 1930s, 1940s in New
Babe
York,
Ruth in New York
mobsters and
basketball.
stuff, and I was just like, what's going on?
And then all of a sudden we just had a little bit of a ring, and then
the
the
screen
sound
lit up.
hit. So you think you're untouchable?
Can I just spell it out? What came up on the screen? THU. Thugonomics.
I was going to say, do it right out.
Thugonomics lit up on the screen, and
it was Thugonomics John Cena. Wow, what a pop this man got!
Just incredible. I've never been
Word Life on his fingers, on his hands as well, like little knuckle dusters as he used to get.
It was. I've never been against John Cena.
No, neither have I. I was never ever a John Cena hater.
No, I've never. I'm not like a John Cena fanatic. I like John for what he does. I love what he does outside the ring as well.
He's like the Undertaker. He adapts.
Yeah, he's worked with Make-A-Wish, and you know everything he does outside of WWE for charities. He gets a lot of stick from the WWE universe. A lot of people don't like his face, not his face, but his face run. And they've wanted to see a heel turn for years. Yeah, they want to see him change it up a little bit.
I could make.
I don't think his gimmick was getting stale by any means. I love the whole.
I mean, I could make a joke that Elias was in the ring on his own because
we won't know because that's just. But yeah, John Cena comes out as the Doctor of Thugonomics.
Chain, baseball cap backwards,
baseball jersey
on,
fly.
and he made a heel joke. And he also turned around. He said to Elias, "I'm not going to use an AA. I'm going to use an FU."
How was it he worded it? He was like, "I'm not going to use an AA, but I am going to give you an FU."
He absolutely owned Elias on the
multiple pops from the crowd. The whole audience was marking out.
Yeah.
I think even like people that were there that weren't like actually wrestling fans, that were just there for, you know, the media side of things. Just John Cena just owning Elias on the mic. He was relentless.
Superb.
Yeah, just. I don't know how Elias is going to recover from that.
No, he's not. So basically, John Cena then clocked him with, looked like his knuckle dusters.
Yeah.
He used his old style, so instead of doing the you can't see me, he used his old style of just brushing the shoulder, come down with the 5 knuckle shuffle, and then he done what he used to do with the FU, not the attitude adjustment. He pumped the sneakers.
Yeah. Oh.
He hit the attitude. Oh, sorry. He hit the FU. And the crowd went wild. Now, one thing that I said to Ben this afternoon before we started recording, this will be the first WrestleMania. Now, if you exclude WrestleMania 32 because he was injured, this will be the first WrestleMania since WrestleMania 20, all the way back in 2004, that John Cena has not had a match. Like I say, 32 was the only exception. John Cena was out with a shoulder injury.
Based on what we saw last night with Cena, would you rather have had Cena face Elias in just a straight-up match, say like a month or so ago, Elias issued a challenge, Cena comes out, challenges him to a match, and it's a pretty much straightforward match.
If you kept the Thugonomics thing...
If we had all the...
a secret.
Yeah, would have been great.
I would like that, yeah.
But I think because he surprised everyone with the Doctor of Thugonomics return, it was reminiscent of his return at Rumble, how much the crowd got behind it. You know, we expected to see Cena at some point.
He needs to keep this persona.
Oh, definitely. And the way he teased the heel turn, we won't say too much because obviously if you haven't watched it and you are watching this, shame on you, foolish. But thank you.
Spoilers, guys. I mean, come on, it's near enough in the title. So
yeah, the way he teased that heel turn was just, it was better than Batista's forwards to Triple H on Raw before Mania.
Promo and moment of the night.
Impactful, yeah.
Other than Kofi winning the championship.
Just
moment of the night.
It was weird because it was full of nostalgia, and I'm only 29. I shouldn't be talking about nostalgia. But yeah, old John Cena's back, looking in good shape. Also, the fact he was wearing a hat covering up his weird haircut.
No, he's changed it. He's sorted his hair out. They posted a picture the other day. He's not got that stupid mop on his head anymore. He has actually trimmed it down. He doesn't look like he used to. He's trimmed the sides down, and he's still got it a bit like me, but I mean, my hair's dying, so. But he's got it sort of swept over, and it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
But he did have a cap
But
on.
no, fantastic to see John Cena back. Excited for Raw tonight. Cannot wait.
This, unfortunately, I think saps whatever would be left would be taken out of the Batista Triple H match, but this took out the last of the energy of the crowd.
Yep.
Thing. By this point, we're over.
Although,
what,
Gotta say,
6 hours in,
yeah,
7 hours in.
with multiple toilet breaks.
Oh God, yeah.
And the worst part is having to select your moments. I nearly missed George Mizanin throwing punches. I
think
have
that's,
never weed and washed my hands and run downstairs so quickly in all my life. I did think when I sat down I might have still been weeing, but I was past caring.
I might have had something to do with the 7 or 8 pints of beer we had.
I only had like 4 because I was just so into it.
Oh, just me then, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the John Cena segment. Next we had the Triple H and Batista match, and
I'm just going to put it out there. You weren't that great of a fan of Triple H's entrance on the night. It wasn't as good as previous, but I loved it.
I didn't. It was a Mad Max thing. Sucked.
But it was just, I don't know. It was better than Batista's because Batista's come out surrounded by security, 2 like big old Cadillac SUVs, and you see the back, like all the bodyguards get off and surround the trucks.
Oh, and also he come out in original Batista ring
Batista
gear,
stuff.
not 2014 Batista ring gear.
The rear window of this Cadillac SUV Batista's sitting in has just been wound down, and you just see this half-naked, topless bloke sitting there, looking all serious, and he steps out
when he got in the ring.
Yeah. Oh. So Batista's he's done his whole, proper fist pumping on the stage, pyrotechnics going off. It was brilliant. Everyone was getting amped. Batista's made his way into the ring. He's climbed through the middle rope and caught his foot on the rope and stumbled.
Stacks it.
But credit to Batista, he laughed it off and smiled.
And then started talking trash to Triple H's mum and dad, who were down.
Really work,
I know a lot of people. A lot of people won't know who Triple H because they're quite away. They're not part of storylines. But the people that Batista, for you that did watch, the people that he was basically running his mouth on were Triple H's mum and dad there.
Yeah, but
the one that he done the cutthroat to. That's Triple H's dad.
I did think it really funny that he's just stumbled his way into the ring, does his little bit, gets out ready for a Triple H's entrance, and badmouths Triple H's parents just after stumbling into the ring, almost as bad as Titus at the Rumble.
So hard.
Yeah.
And him and Titus are good friends as well, so it must be a thing going on with these two. Who can stack it the best?
The match begun, and you knew there was going to be weapons involved. It's Triple H, Batista.
And you could tell, even when Triple H was taking bumps,
when
Batista was whipping him, he was always using his left.
He was definitely favouring his right shoulder, his right pec. So maybe there's still a little bit of an issue there with him. But it didn't, that was the only noticeable thing, was when he was throwing chair shots and Irish whipping Batista towards the barricade outside the arena. But there was one moment Triple H hit Batista with a toolbox. What fell out? A wrench.
Pliers.
And the metal chain. Now Triple H didn't just wrap the metal chain sort of around his fist. He's got this thing like a whip and just started lashing Batista across the back with it. And that's going to hurt.
You can't protect that. That will hurt.
So credit to Batista for taking that. Batista and Triple H have obviously spoken about this match in length.
This man hasn't wrestled in 5 years, like Batista.
Yeah, but
he hasn't wrestled in 5 years.
He has defended the Galaxy on a couple of occasions.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But, he hasn't wrestled in 5 years. And this man, I didn't see any ring wrestling.
No, not at all.
Maybe a little bit, but not
much.
But
only when he tried getting in the ring. Hadn't practiced that a lot. Yeah. The segment with Triple H getting Dave on his back with a pair of
on the throat.
Crocodile nose pliers, which for US viewers are the really thin, pointy ones. He's got Batista down on the ground, has pinned him, and then, what was it, Triple H said, how about that nose ring or something? And Triple H and Dave have, covered it up. Triple H has yanked the nose ring out. Batista's, but it was kind of a shame because you saw Triple H crawl to the referee and the referee hand something. And then Triple H is standing there holding this nose ring up.
Batista's standing there outside the ring doing all that. Triple H is obviously trying to draw the cameras and the crowd to him, saying he's got the nose. But what it was Batista was just taking the nose ring out. And that actually got a bit of crap on the internet. People noticed that, but I don't care. We won't get too far into the match. The only announce table break spot of the night, Triple H speared Batista.
There were a couple of times that who was it that got dropped on his back on the table? Batista. Batista went for a Batista bomb through the middle table, off the top of the ring steps, which he placed on one of the announce tables. Triple H has thrown him over him, and Batista's hit this table. And my God.
But so after that spot, Batista's on the middle announce table. Triple H is on the far left, and he runs off the off the left one to the middle and spears Batista
Brilliant.
through to the right
Great
one.
spot.
The German announce table, and they go for a great match. Great spot. And then we had the other thing. So Batista he's pulled the bottom end of the steps into the ring.
Oh, yes.
And Triple H he basically does the last ride spot where he's trying to go for punches, and Triple H got Batista up for a powerbomb on these steps.
Great. Yeah.
And the bounce that Batista, he hit these steps so hard, he bounced off and backwards.
Yeah, Batista's hit these steps and he's just, bounced a couple of inches off the steps and landed in the ring. Triple H looked dominant for a guy of his age, and for Batista, 5 years outside of the ring.
Oh, we did also see
hell of a show.
The first pedigree Batista did botch a bit. He sort of come down on his knees, and because he come down on his knees, his face went forward a bit too far, and he smacked his face on the camera.
Good job he'd taken the nose ring out.
But yeah, and then also we saw a really good, but I think a bit oversold DDT where Batista hit him on Triple H on the steps, and he literally stood vertical.
It was like a headstand on the steps.
It was quite comical, but also very good. But the finish of the match was very good.
Yeah.
Batista and Triple H are both down, and a returning Ric Flair passes Triple H another sledgehammer, and Batista's got
a few words of wisdom.
Batista's got the sledgehammer from the original. There was two that was pulled out. Batista had the original sledgehammer from earlier in the match. Also, Triple H did kick out of a Batista bomb while Batista got him up, and he actually held the sledgehammer, so it's quite heavy. It does throw you off balance. For those of you that don't know, the only time Triple H has ever messed up a sledgehammer shot on someone, he's always been safe, was the only time he's only ever used a fake sledgehammer. He always uses real ones. All the way back at Wrestlemania X7, when he got Triple H up, the reason he used the fake one was because he was worried about him picking him up and
of course,
balance. And when he clocked Undertaker with that, there was a foam bit at the top, and that was actually when the wood poked through and he busted him open. But he's always used a real sledgehammer ever since then, and he's never actually injured anyone.
Never scrimp on your tools.
But so the finish of the match was Ric Flair then went round to Batista after he'd given Triple H.
Good actually.
Yeah, especially in his mid-70s.
Yeah.
But he handed Triple H sledgehammer, went round to Batista, basically said, "You're going to get what's coming to you." And Triple H jumped off of the steps that was in the middle, and near enough done
his mind when he saw Flair.
Near enough done like a Superman sledgehammer shot to Batista.
Jumped off the ring steps that were in the ring, and just dropped Batista.
That was great.
Yeah.
And then one final pedigree, 1, 2, 3. Match was over, and just to clarify,
out of all the matches throughout the night, it's probably the only one that I don't actually have any complaints with.
No, and again, this was the last thing that I think sapped the energy out of the crowd. I have no qualms with this at all. Right man won.
Yeah.
And Batista did go on social media at the end of the night, and he has now officially announced that he has retired from wrestling. Batista.
You mean Batista quit after losing a match?
He quit yet again, but no, the real man, Dave Bautista, has now officially retired from professional wrestling, and I think that's well deserved.
End of a good legacy.
A lot of respect. He didn't like the way his 2014 run had finished. It was supposed to be a year. Did you know? The way
Also,
that when he first signed is supposed
Paul's
to be a year.
prediction last night. Triple H to be the first person entered into the Hall of Fame 3 times. DX, Evolution, and
Solo.
And you said Batista being entered in
next year,
the Hall of Fame next
for those
year.
who don't know, I think it was 2 years ago.
Sorry.
He was actually asked if he wanted to go into Hall
That's
of Fame,
right, and
but
he
because
turned it down, didn't he?
because he didn't, because he in his mind he was Hall of
Unfinished
Famers.
business.
Yeah, in his mind, Hall of Famers were people that were done, and he didn't feel like he was done. He wanted to end his career the right way. He was also supposed to obviously be Ronda Rousey's tag team partner last year, but that didn't happen due to we don't even know officially. But he
Defending
never got a
the
call
galaxy.
back. Yeah, he never got a call back for that one. So this was the right way to end it.
Yeah.
And I think he will be the headliner next year. I also think Christian will be in the Hall of Fame.
I'd like to see it. I love Christian.
But yeah, so that was the end of that match. Great little show at the end. Ric Flair and Triple H hugged. Triple H can still compete in the ring.
Yeah, looked great.
Lovely.
Even though he was carrying a slight issue with his pectoral muscle.
I still don't think we'll see him wrestle until because obviously they've signed that contract where they've got 2 Saudi shows a year. I don't think he'll be at the next one. I think he'll be at the one away in November, and I don't see him wrestling until then because I think he's going to need time to.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he definitely used his power backstage to push forward, to push this injury news forward. Because I think if it was any normal competitor, he wouldn't have been able to get in. Oh, speaking of injuries, just off subject a bit, another person who was in the Women's Battle Royal. We forgot about this earlier on. She was in the Women's Battle Royal. Now, she was not supposed to be back. She's not been in the in wrestling all the way since the Royal Rumble. Wow,
great to see as well, and good performance.
I can't English. But, yeah, she got injured in the Royal Rumble. She had a bad shoulder injury, and she wasn't supposed to be back until after SummerSlam. But in the Women's Battle Royal was Ember Moon.
Put on a good show. Didn't look no signs of any injuries.
Hitting Eclipse as well.
Yeah, elimination was a little bit, I think, probably premature. They could have done more with her. Yeah, I'd have liked to have seen her last longer than a couple of others. Naomi.
Well, actually, she went out quite quick. As soon as she won last year, she went out very quick. But yeah, no, she was back as well. Sorry, I forgot to say that earlier on. That's just reminded me. But yeah, so anyway, I digress. Next week, Christ. This is what turned the night for me. This is what gave me a sour taste in my mouth. It
really did. And it's such a shame because we are, of course, talking about Kurt Angle's farewell match against Baron Corbin. Now, there was a lot of rumours flying around that John Cena would be Angle's opponent and that somehow it would get, turned around. There was a lot of teasing from WWE that they even admitted themselves that they could see the backlash from the fans. They weren't happy with Corbin being Angle's choice of opponent. Angle's made his way to the ring. What a great entrance as well. So well received by the audience.
A lot of pyro as well. But the other thing was, we thought, oh, well, John Cena come out earlier, so he probably won't. Maybe it's The Undertaker then.
And I did keep saying the American Hero versus the American Badass.
Also, just FYI, this is the first WrestleMania since 2000, WrestleMania 2000, which will be WrestleMania 16. The Undertaker has not appeared since 1991. WrestleMania 7, his debut. Undertaker has only missed 3 WrestleManias now. WrestleMania 10, 2000, which is 16, and this one. He was not there.
But going back to Corbin and Kurt, Corbin's entrance was pretty good. I still don't like the suit he wrestles in. What the
waistcoat? Oh.
But yeah, even up to Corbin entering the ring, we thought something's going to happen. Something's got to give. But no, the ring bell sounded.
Corbin Angle.
Kurt went flying into it.
I will say.
Hold back.
Now, I think he's been holding back for a while.
Especially
his German suplexes, his belly to bellies. He's been holding back on matches on Raw and SmackDown. This he didn't. Whatever he had left in the tank, he gave in this match.
Yeah, definitely.
He looks. I mean, we're not exactly, but he looks slightly like the old Kurt here. He literally everything he had left in his body. He knew he'd never have to do it again.
Did I hear ruthless aggression?
No, unfortunately. But he generally did give everything he had left, and he did look like the Angle of old. And for his performance itself,
very fluid.
Very fluid. His selling was great. He looked a little bit like the old Angle.
Credit to Corbin as well. As much as I don't think anybody wanted to see him in there, performed well.
The selling and I mean the match was short, but the selling of the moves and the actual giving of the moves.
Also,
were all
at
good.
one stage, Corbin had Kurt on the floor in the corner, and Corbin went over and was like, "Hey, Kurt, you can't see me."
Yeah, why? Why give it about John Cena and he never appeared?
It was a bit weird, but Corbin playing the villain so well.
So the ending was Angle did have 2 ankle locks in, but no leg vine, which I think he should have done. He did it an angle slam, a great angle slam I might add. Corbin kicked out, and then the final scene. Oh, Angle
Corbin hit a fantastic deep 6 on Kurt as
Angle
well.
did kick out as that as well, but the ending was he finally hit 3 final German suplexes, and he went up for his moonsault.
Again, nicely executed.
Now he also always misses these bleeding moonsaults, so I thought right at the end, finally he's actually going to hit this moonsault.
Send him out on a high.
No, he missed it. Great rotation, great landing.
Yeah,
for
executed
a 50-year-old man
missing.
whose body is in absolute shards. Angle missed the moonsault, Corbin rolled out the way, and then he hit a end of days.
Nicely done as well.
Great sell as well. Corbin wins.
So hugely disappointing. Not because of the match itself, but because
high
expectations.
I do moan about Corbin quite a lot. But I got to admit, for both these men, it's not their fault. They're not in charge of booking.
And
Angle,
maybe this is what Kurt wanted.
No, it wasn't.
No.
Angle has outright come out and said he wanted Cena.
Yeah.
And
he started Cena's career. He said it would be fitting for Cena to finish his career.
The backstage news was they wanted Corbin because they wanted the heat from this match to push Corbin
It
forward.
makes me hopeful that they are going to give Corbin a bit more of a push, because I've liked him since NXT.
But I think it's the
His
wrong
whole
heat.
lone wolf gimmick was brilliant.
I think it's the wrong heat. I really do.
It's the wrong Corbin as well. Constable Corbin needs to be dropped and quick.
He needs to drop that bleeding suit he's wearing as well.
They did a smart thing by cutting the rest of his hair off that was left. He looked a bit like Gollum. A few fine strands of hair. You're all right, mate. But yeah, drop the Constable Corbin gimmick. Bring back the lone. Was it the Lone Wolf? Yeah, the Lone Wolf Corbin from NXT, because there was a lot of hype around him when he came up. Never came to fruition.
Debuted Wrestlemania 32. He won the Battle Royal.
That's right. And never really developed from there. And now this Constable Corbin gimmick. It needs
he'd really upset people backstage in 2017. This is why he lost the briefcase to Jinder. He lost the cash-in match to Jinder. He'd annoyed a lot of people backstage when they were having a concussion talk about NFL.
Ah, yes.
Being a former NFL player himself, he'd actually, I think, rightly addressed his opinions. But I think
he was
not
right
only
to voice
that,
his opinions, because he's got a genuine experience and knowledge behind what they're talking about. So yeah.
But I think he went round it the wrong way. From backstage point of view, he went around it the wrong way, and he also was rubbing other people the wrong way, and that was why he was fed to John Cena at SummerSlam 2017, which was Cena's first singles match win at SummerSlam in 10 years, because Cena has a bit of a losing streak at SummerSlam. But yeah, so we digress.
Farewell, Kurt. Thank you.
It was pretty sad to see, actually.
He did at the end of the match. He stood in the ring very graciously, took the defeat well. Thanked the crowd and asked them for one last time to give him the "You Suck" chant.
Went over to
and it was fantastic.
Went over to his 1,000 children.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's like the Madonna of wrestling.
Oh my god! But you know, lovely.
Yeah,
I've got to stop saying better. He did it again. Great to see. Absolutely great to see. And that would be all we really say on that.
Yeah.
Now this match next. This really wound me up. Really wound me up.
I think possibly. In terms of performance-wise, I think the most disappointing for me.
Yeah, and we're talking about the Demon Balor versus Bobby Lashley.
And now Paul is a big Lashley fan. I'm a big Finn Balor fan. I love the Demon Finn, but they booked it all wrong.
And I've got to admit, he didn't look like the Demon.
No,
I don't know what he looked like. Professional paint? No, he looked like someone's child has just come along and painted on his face. It wasn't a demon.
No, it was very strange.
He looked like a Jabberwocky.
It was very unusual.
I mean, I like this.
As soon as his music hit,
great,
and he was stood up there on like a big old podium, and it was like, "Whoa, hang on a minute, what's coming down here? This is going to be good." And then the lights came on. And,
I wanted to see Balor, because you get like Rey Mysterio. He dresses up as movie stars.
Mysterio from whatchamacallit.
I mean, I thought he looked like Skeletor from He-Man, Mysterio, but
good little outfit.
But Balor sort of come down like a podium, a bit like Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25, which is not the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. But yeah, it looked weird. It really did look weird.
Lashley came out wearing some weird contact lenses and looked like the big dude from the Friday films who actually appeared in WWE in the early 90s.
I said in the reactions video, he either looked like a Sith Lord or he looked like he was blind.
Yeah.
But Balor, he dressed up.
I've got to be honest as well. As much as I've not enjoyed Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush in recent months, there wasn't a lot of Lio Rush involved.
No.
It was a very, very strange match, strangely booked.
I wanted to see Balor come out as the Venom, like a Venom sort of demon.
The big old tongue and mouth down.
That would have been super, but he didn't. But anyway, we'll just skip through this match quickly. Spots in the match. Lashley did mess up a sell of the sling blade. It was a bit awkward.
Oh, we did.
But we saw, I think Lashley took a page from Big E's book. We saw a spear for the ropes. And then we saw a spear.
That was well executed. I've got to be honest, actually.
Yeah, very good sell. And we saw a spear inside the ring, which was kicked out of. And then Balor.
It wasn't a great spear, though, let's be honest.
Balor managed to get Lashley.
It was almost like Lashley saw Finn about to get hit by a car. I was like, oh, quick, let me save him, and just wrap my arms around him tenderly and roll him out the way.
And then Balor managed to get Lashley up for a powerbomb.
Why did they stop Lashley doing the shoulder tackle thing as well? That was so much better than the spear. You know, where he'd throw him into one rope, bounce off the other one, and just like smash through them.
That wasn't Lashley.
Who was that?
It's Marcus Corvon. ECW.
No, Bobby Lashley definitely used it for a while. I'm sure of it.
No.
We're going to YouTube this afterwards and find out.
I'm right though. I'm right though.
I'm sure I saw Lashley too.
I'm right though. It's Marcus Corvon.
If he is,
Tell us in the
apologise.
comments section who's right. But yeah, so Balor hit a powerbomb on Lashley.
Who the hell's Marcus Corvon?
Exactly. He was in ECW for a little while.
Oh, mate, I may have seen it once or twice and thought, oh, that'd suit Bobby Lashley.
It was called the Pounce.
Oh,
I mean, one of the best ones he ever.
Right,
one of the best ones he ever hit was on Sabu. But anyway, we're going off topic.
Yeah.
So yeah, he hit a powerbomb on Lashley, and instead of normally, say the turnbuckle is, I keep forgetting it's vertical. Turnbuckle's here. Normally, a person would lay sort of sideways on. He didn't. He laid vertically on, and he hit a coup de grace.
Coup de grace was executed well.
Painful.
Yeah.
Actually, very good execute, and yeah, Balor won.
But again,
I think the
when
booking
Leo
decision.
Rush is stood at ringside, and Leo Rush has played such a villain so well, and you know, there's always been outside interference from Leo Rush. There wasn't any sort of distraction attempt from him. So yeah, underwhelming.
I think the whole thing going into Mania, the whole booking decision.
I feel sorry for Finn and Bobby.
I wanted to see Demon Balor versus Undertaker.
Both fantastic, and
that's what I wanted.
Let down by the booking.
Yeah, very, very let down.
It's going to be hard to see how they book Finn from now on, and Bobby as well.
Well, I'm hoping the Superstar shake-up, they're going to switch the two titles. I think Joe to Raw and Balor to SmackDown.
Joe and Bobby would be...
Oh, great.
They've done it previously. They've had some fantastic matches.
I would like Lashley's going to SmackDown as well. I think you've got too many big men on Raw at the moment.
True.
Roman, Drew,
Strowman. I reckon where he's going.
I've got a slight feeling that John Cena is going to be on Raw tonight, and I think Lars Sullivan's going to debut.
Whether we see him or not.
I think Sullivan's going to debut, and that'll be another one on Raw. So I'm hoping that Lashley goes over to SmackDown.
Can't wait for Raw.
But anyway, so we'll skip over that absolute shambles of a match, and we'll go to the final. Now, just to clarify, rumour out there is, and it's been confirmed by quite a few people, that the ending of this match was botched. We'll tell you the rumour of what it should have been. It should have been Charlotte tapping out to Becky Lynch's disarmer. Lynch did still win.
There was a lot of, shall we say, unrefined moments.
You could hear them verbally talking
very
to each other
audible.
throughout the match.
And I don't think it was just this match. I'm sure previously through the night I heard a couple of other spots. I don't necessarily think it's down to them.
I mean, I think
technical problems maybe.
Fatigue played a big part in this, but the crowd were quite quiet for this match. The entrances were great. Charlotte come down in a helicopter. Ronda Rousey had
Joan Jett.
Yeah, bad reputation played by Joan Jett live. Quite good live performance. We've had some stinkers in the past, but this one weren't too bad considering the lady's in her 50s now. The song's about 20 years old. It makes me feel ancient.
She had a couple of nice Piper's Pits as well.
Yeah, and that was actually how the finish went down. So she got Lynch up for the Piper's Pit after Charlotte went into, got hip tossed into the table, which also was a bit of a botch. The table didn't quite break completely. And then, she rolled her up Piper's Pit, but Lynch managed to flip through and hit a crucifix pin. But what you didn't see was Rousey's shoulders wasn't down, and for some reason there was some sort of communication error, and the ref counted 3.
I think maybe the ref was just fed up that it was going on so long. I was like, right, let's get everyone
enough.
home.
That's it. It's ending. But yeah,
they stopped paying me 2 hours ago.
Her shoulder was up,
visibly up,
and the ref still counted 3. And Rousey legitimately looked peed off at the end of the night. And the rumor is that
she beat the referee.
She's going to be no. The rumor is she's going to be away for a while. I still stand by it. I think we'll see her in the Rumble.
No, Rumble.
I think it'll be Rumble. I don't see her for the rest of this year. I think she'll be in the Rumble. She'll probably win it, and you'll have the one-on-one match because she'll have the gripe of, well, you didn't actually beat me.
Yeah, they've got a storyline there instantly made, which is favourable for them.
And I would have liked
to see the actual ending play out the way it was supposed to.
She'll tap Rousey out next year, but I think if it's like this year and they're going to do it just as long, I don't want to see it as main event again. This wasn't main event. It was not main event quality at all.
In terms of the matches that were put on, I'd say the only one that would have been main event worthy weirdly would have been Seth and Brock, even though it was so short.
No, because again, I think by this point, any match you put in the spot was the death spot.
It was
because the crowd
not destined to fail as such, but it wasn't dealt a good hand.
I think having Kofi,
you think we were at like a bar kind of place that was showing the event, and we were there from 10 PM. Now, imagine that you know, this was being based in the UK, so I don't actually know the time zone difference and that. But you imagine you get to Mania for what?
Difference.
Yeah, you get there for about 2 hours before, get your seat. You've got your travelling beforehand to get to the venue.
It's a day thing.
It's an all-day thing, and especially, you know, in the US, it's a big place. There's a lot of travelling, so, you know, credit to the audience that were there for sticking it out so long. Whether or not the rumours of people leaving prematurely are true, but I could completely understand
But
it.
I also think that Kofi and Bryan, the spot that they were in, I think if this was in the final, it wouldn't have been as big of a moment. I think they had the perfect spot.
They had to do it earlier on, and I think that's probably why they booked Seth and Brock so early.
We said this so. I mean, again, I think alcohol played a little bit of part, so we probably repeated ourselves a few times. Well, I don't know, by the end of the night, I'd sobered up. That's how long this bleeding show was.
He's got a point, actually.
But by the end of it, we were just so fatigued that even we'd had enough, and we really were just wanting this match to be over, and it was. Also, on a side note, Ronda Rousey, within 5 minutes of the match, actually broke her hand.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, she was legitimately quite annoyed. You could see she was saying something to the ref, but the cameras sort of moved away from her and moved on to Lynch. I think we're going to have the same thing as what we had with Lesnar back in 2014. Tonight on Raw, I think Lynch is going to be awarded just one single title. And again, I stress, it can't be pink or butterflies. And I don't want to see just a SmackDown Championship dropped and you're just going to have a Red Raw Women's Championship. It can't be, because if it's going to be moving between two brands, it needs to be a neutral colour. I'd like to see maybe a black middle.
Yeah, or Becky could bring back a spinner belt.
No, but I like the white strap. I think the white strap's quite cool.
Yeah, I like the white strap.
The IC title was one of my favourite championships.
I used to be a big fan of the Attitude Era IC title.
Black one.
Yeah, and then when the white one came in, I wasn't that big of a fan, but I love what's been done with it recently. And I'm actually, it's probably my favourite.
So yeah, that was WrestleMania. By the end of it, we'd had enough. Again, we said it so many times during the reaction show, which you will see hopefully by Thursday or Friday, guys. It takes a while to go.
It's going to be a lot of editing.
But we was just done with it. 8 hours is just too long. After the Elias segment was seen, and maybe the Triple H match, we'd had enough. And it didn't help that the Corbin angle and the Demon and Lashley match just took it out of us.
It really did.
So that was it. Oh God, it's going to be a lot to edit. I just realised how long this video is.
Tonight's Raw to find out what's going down.
Yeah, these guys will probably do a review of Raw. I unfortunately won't be there because I have to work. I should be back on the SmackDown show. Sean and I, how it goes.
Yeah, Sean and I will be filming the Raw review, Raw recap tomorrow lunchtime / afternoon. So hopefully it will be posted in the evening, if not Wednesday morning. We are at work until late tomorrow PM, and hopefully you and I will do a SmackDown recap on Wednesday to be posted for Wednesday night or Thursday.
And like I say, the Mania reactions, again, will be up hopefully Thursday or Friday.
The Mania reactions thing is just a little bit of fun. Don't read into it too much. We just want you guys to know what we're really like when we watch the wrestling. I think it's a stark contrast between...
We got a bit overhyped.
You, Sean, and myself. I got so into it last night. I was just like steely glazed watching it. Just, yeah.
It was pretty good, but yeah, we are going to leave it there, guys. I'll say this show's has gone on for a bit longer than.
But when the main event, or not the main event, sorry, the Mania show was as long as it is, it's hard to fit it all into such a short video.
Well, that's what I mean. We've just sat there and talked about 21 matches, including the NXT, and then other segments that took place in between. So you know, when we do our other reaction shows for Money in the Bank, things like that, they're not going to be as long as this.
But I've got to say,
WrestleMania.
After WrestleMania, this is quite possibly the most excited I've been and most anticipated
for the new wrestling calendar year, because WrestleMania is the end of the year.
I'm really looking forward to Raw tonight. So excited to see what's going to go down. There's a lot that could happen. So please don't disappoint, Raw.
I'm hoping yeah, it will live up to expectation. I'm not holding my breath.
Really want to see George Mizanin throwing some punches again too.
Oh, those potato punches from Shane, but we won't go into that one.
No.
We are going to leave it here, guys. So
we hope you guys enjoyed Mania as much as we do as well, and thanks for watching our previous videos as well. It's much appreciated. Yeah, this is just a lot of fun for us. We're really enjoying it. So yeah, thanks, and keep up the support.
And also, we're going to be getting a better microphone very soon.
Yeah.
So it should be better than this. But anyway, on that note, I've been Paul.
I've been Ben.
And you've been watching Alpha Wrestling Reviews. Take care, stay safe, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.
Goodbye.